It's literally 3 a.m. for me, and I'm just like really bored. I feel like making a video just to start doing stuff on YouTube again, because why not? But yeah, so I don't know how laggy the stream is, because my internet's shit, but I assume it's not a game, so it should be a little bit better. But let me just make sure that my mic's working in the actual stream. But basically, I'm just gonna make some basic predictions on the Alright, my mic's working. Just had to make sure that. But basically, just making some predictions on these games. But it's a bit hard to tell with obviously the first or the second drawing game here being Renegades. Playing with Jacob instead of Naf, which would be really interesting, because I feel like Jacob, he's played in FaZe before, he's played in G2 and a few other pretty decent European teams. He might be able to bring some experience to the table for Renegades, but at the same time, let's be honest, Naf did do a lot for Renegades. Like, I feel like this is either going to be the turning point for them, or they're just gonna go to shit. But then at the same time, I feel like there's been a lot of those moments. I feel like Renegades, no matter what, they're always gonna be a team. They're always gonna be. They're not gonna be a team just to disappear. Like, let's be honest here. They've been a team for, let's think, how long? Like 2 years, something like that. That's a long time for a CSGO roster that are getting the results that they're getting to actually stay together. Like, I'm honestly surprised that they're still together and still doing what they're doing, Like, it just would be nice to see them actually get up there and win something. Tyloo, definitely like a big underdog there, but it will be interesting to see how they will do. Obviously missing out on the Boston Major and getting replaced by Flash. It'll be interesting to see them against some of the world's greatest teams. Some of them, not all of them, are there, but I'm pretty sure most of them. But pretty much like same with MVP. It will be interesting to see more of the Asian scene there again. It's a shame that, well, it's not really a shame, but like it would be nice to see one of the other Australian teams here, but there was no qualifier for them. I believe there was only one for Asia, and I believe that was direct invite. Let me just check. Don't want to be off here, but let me see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was direct invite. So obviously nothing that the Australian teams could do there. But it would have been interesting to have a qualifier to go to this, and then have the Asian and the Australian teams qualifying together that way, because I feel like maybe Tyler and Order could have been a possibility. I believe it's the same. I think it's like that for something else, but I can't really remember. But definitely will be interesting to see them go up against the FaZe. Obviously, one thing with StarSeries is, I believe, let me just make sure, I'm pretty sure it's best of threes, but it's a Swiss system, so obviously, the Swiss system being used at the recent major with the prelims and the group stages, and it showed its flaws, but it also showed some. It's good in the sense that teams can upset, and but like at the same time, everyone complains. Best of one. Some teams may not have gotten through. Obviously, one of them being Quantum Bells or Fire. Honestly, with how they played, they deserved it. Like, I think best of ones only provide upsets, and if you're winning, like if you're winning that many best of ones, I don't think it's an upset anymore. Like, if they won against, if they won one game against a team that they shouldn't have, then that's different. But they were consistently beating like some of the best, not the best teams in the world, but some of like the top tier of teams in the world, which was pretty spectacular, if I'm honest. Especially that game against Mel Sports where they came back. Obviously, them not being here, so we don't get to see them again. But the best of three, most of these games will be pretty easy to predict. Now, the first game, like, I don't know if this is going to be the order that they'll be streamed in. I'm assuming they're going to switch it around because obviously there's probably more beneficial ways to have it so they get more viewers and stuff. But FaZe and Tyloo, like, pretty obvious. FaZe, they've been doing pretty well lately. Obviously playing at the E-League Major, falling short to Cloud9, which I think was a pretty spectacular game and probably was one of the best CSGO games I've seen in a while. And you definitely have to you have to tip your hats to them. But like, still definitely against Tyloo, I don't really see Tyloo doing anything. Like, they're just gonna get destroyed. It'll just be interesting to see how Tyloo do if they can at least make it competitive. Maybe on one map they might be able to make it competitive, but I don't really see them challenging Tyloo. I mean, challenging FaZe, excuse me. But in the next game, G2 and Renegades. Now, I'm a bit biased, obviously, being an Australian. I do obviously want Renegades to do well. I mean, Renegades have beaten G2 in a best 3 in the past. Was it a best of 3 or best of 1? I'm trying to remember. I know it was at IM Oakland. All I know is that no, it was a best of 1. It was on Cobblestone and it was like 16-7. So Renegades, they have proven that they can take a map of G2, but then again, best of 1. Obviously, this is the best of 3, so. And obviously, with that roster change, going into this, they're probably going to be weaker, but then at the same time, they do have that surprise factor, and G2 won't be able to prepare as well for Renegades, but I believe, like, if you just look at their lineup, Shulks, Kenny's, MVK, Avex, and Body, they really do have just that firepower to be able to deal with Renegades no matter what, but I have been impressed with Nifty and his IGL, and like, he's really good considering he's only just really picked up the role. So I reckon it'll be an interesting match, but I see G2 winning it, but I reckon it'll be 2-1. But I wouldn't be surprised if G2 destroy Renegades at the same time, but I'm definitely going to put G2 there. Now, Cloud9 Heroic, I believe this game was either Liquid or Cloud9 that played Heroic recently, so let me just check. But obviously Cloud9, our recent major champions, and they also came second at CS Summit, where also Heroic were, so I'm just trying to see if, they faced off there. I'm trying to remember. I don't believe they did. Did they? Nah, it was Liquid that played them. But unless they played each other earlier, I'm not quite sure, and I can't be bothered looking. But definitely Cloud9 favourites there, and I definitely see them taking that one 2-0. I wasn't really impressed with Heroic at Summit. Like, they only beat Nip, which, can't take credit from them for beating Nip, but I believe Cloud9's like a completely different beast to to Ninjas to Nip, especially at the moment. Now, next game, SK versus MVP. Now, with how SK are playing at the moment, this is possible, but then again, they've only been playing bad against, the higher tier teams. They obviously faced off against Talked, which is obviously XGX, or more popularly known as most of the XI power players, like mainly with Steel, Swag, and of course AZK. And then they picked up Kusta on the AWP, and they've got Poyo on the last role on that team. So still decent, but obviously, they haven't really played at that high level in ages, so then not really that good. But I definitely would see them being a better team than MVP. So definitely CSK taking that one out 2-0. Now the next one, Mouse Sports and Virtus Pro. Now, definitely straight away, I go straight to Mouse Sports, but Virtus Pro have made a roster change. They put in Miku and they replaced Taz. So definitely interesting. They haven't really made a roster change in quite some time, but definitely got to be interesting. I haven't really seen their results lately, if they've even played any games lately with him, because if they're tying against, was this before the major or after the major? Oh no, this is ages ago. So that they haven't played. They play in 5 minutes. So really hope they would beat this team. Obviously still in MDL, which is obviously not good for them. I feel like that's really affecting them as a team, because they're not getting that high quality opposition all the time. I feel like for Virtus Pro to get better, again, they have to get back into Pro League. I really don't see them getting better at this point in time. But hopefully Michu, Michu, I don't know, I think it's Miku. That makes sense. But it'll be interesting to see if that fixes this, but I really don't. I see them as a team, they're just fundamentally, they just haven't been playing their best Counter-Strike, and I'm obviously not an expert to really talk about it, but just really not performing. And in a game like Counter-Strike, you need to be performing, especially at the highest level, and Mouse Sports, definitely just a way stronger team. Now the next game, Astralis and Liquid. So this is going to be an interesting game. Obviously both teams having roster shuffles. Now for Astralis, having Magis come in, I can't remember who they got rid of. Do excuse me, it says it right here. Okay, so Magis replaces Kirby, and Liquid obviously adding in Naf from the Renegades, so that's gonna be interesting. Naf with a great performance at CS Summit, and obviously Team Liquid taking that event and beating Cloud9 in the finals 2-0, I believe. Definitely a very strong tournament for them, and really positive for North America as well. Yes, it's not the biggest tournament, but CS Summit still having some decent teams there, and both North American finalists, which is obviously positive for the North American scene. And Liquid definitely showing their dominance. Now Astralis, haven't really played much except at the major, and that was really horrible. They really did not do well. Obviously taking into factor might be, Device, he was not meant to play because he was sick or something like that. And then he came back and he was able to play, so maybe that might have something to do with it. But with their results leading up to the major, it wasn't really looking any positive anyway. So it really just depends if this roster change can actually make a difference for them. Liquid showing that their roster change has made a difference. Obviously, Naf getting the MVP as well, definitely showing that he can perform in Liquid. But is that because, in that structure, teams aren't used to having an aggressive player like Naf making those plays that, Liquid normally wouldn't do? Is it because they weren't preparable before that event? Like, from that event, are there enough demos and information to be able to debunk Liquid and work out why, they were able to do that, and will teams be able to anti-strike them now? But based on results and based on how Liquid are going, I don't see them going down. Yes, it's one event, their summit, but with how Australians have been playing lately, I really don't see them taking this one. But I reckon Liquid will win this 2-1, possibly 2-0, because you also got to consider Liquid did beat the major champions. So definitely an uphill battle for Australis, but they definitely do have the skill set and the players to be able to take that if they step up. Next game, Navi against Hellraisers. Now, definitely on this one, straight away going Navi. And pretty much, there's not much to analyse on this. I don't really know much about Hellraisers. All I know is that they're one of those teams that, every now and then they'll appear in like the higher level sort of Counter Strike and they just disappear. Let me actually look, more closely. They are in Pro League, so now. Oh, that's pretty cool. So tomorrow they are playing each other. So this game might be a bit of a predecessor and show us what might happen in this game. But so it will be interesting. Obviously, another game where we can, based on that, see how they go. Same with most of the North American games as well, especially with Renegades, because they will be playing their ESL Pro League game soon, I believe tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. But I'm not sure what time. Because it's 3:31 for me, so that's like I got excited. I thought it was closer, but definitely big favourites here. According to this, the money is more even, but definitely will be an interesting game to see. So a few of these teams that we're not really sure about their rosters from the roster shuffles will be playing soon, so that might give us some more idea. So I might do a follow up on this, but definitely Navi. I see them as a stronger team. They've just got more firepower, and I think they're just a much better side than Hellraisers. So I see them taking that 2-0. Now the next game and the last game, Fnatic in Gambit. Now this, out of all these games, I reckon this is the most interesting one. Just, I see these teams, Gambit, they have the potential to be that top team, but I feel like they've fallen off a bit, and this is an event where I feel like they need to prove themselves again. They need to prove that they're a top 10 team. They need to do it. Whereas Fnatic, they're on the rise again. They're trying to get back to those prestigious days of being the best team in the world, and they're slowly getting there. They just need to keep on working. Obviously, going out 2-1 to SK in the major, and they also crushed Gambit. So completely forgot about that. But I definitely see Fnatic more likely to take this, especially Gambit haven't been performing as well, but I feel like out of all these games, I feel like this could be the closest one or the best to watch. To an extent, I don't know. Like, obviously I'm biased, so I'm definitely gonna be watching that Renegades and G2. Like, I reckon that will be a good game, cause I feel like at least the Renegades, they rely on Nifty making plays, and it's always fun to watch Nifty make plays, and then hopefully Kenny S shows up as well. Just hopefully it's a game like just a battle of the Orps or something. But they're the predictions for these matches, but to win the whole thing, definitely gotta go back to the major. FaZe and Cloud9 definitely will be favourites there. Liquid falling behind with Mouse Sports, I reckon. So FaZe and Cloud9 definitely probably my favourites, but definitely Liquid and Mouse. I reckon that if any other team have got to take it, it's going to be them. The rest of the teams, I don't really see much from them. G2, they're too inconsistent. I see them finishing third. It's just that I see Mouse and Liquid having more chance of actually winning the whole thing than G2. And so, let me think. If I had to order these teams completely, trying to think, I'd definitely go Cloud9, FaZe. Then I'd go Mouse Sports, Liquid, G2, SK, Navi, then Renegades, no, Gambit, Renegades, and then that's where I lose everything. But besides the teams, before I said Renegades, like the teams that are left with Renegades, I reckon Renegades has the best chance to prove themselves and actually contest with the top teams. I don't see Tyloo doing well. I don't see Heroic doing well. Like pretty much the rest of the teams that I don't really see them performing well. Obviously Astralis, they can. Virtus Pro, I don't see them doing well. But I don't know. It's 3:30 a.m. and I probably shouldn't be doing something like this. But I think I just haven't seen anything on this. I'm might as well create something from it, see what happens, get people talking about this. Yes, it's not the biggest event, but I think it's just good to get hyped over this event. Get hyped over every event. The bigger we make every event, then the bigger Counter Strike and esports gets anyway. So yeah, but definitely see Cloud9 or FaZe winning this one. But yeah, so that'll be it. I can't be bothered doing any more. So yeah, see ya.